Okay, so right now it's April of 2026. We're coming towards the end of April of 2026. It's been a turbulent first 4 months of the, let's call it spring market. It's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. A lot of that has to do with geopolitical issues going on, right? The war happening and the fear of inflation, energy spiking costs, right? There's been a lot of underpinning of uncertainty. And anytime there's uncertainty in a market, it brings up these questions. And the question today is, should you wait to buy? Should you buy now and refinance later? Or should you just not buy at all? Right. From that standpoint, I always go to, for me, the fundamentals of real estate, which are you have no control over market dynamics. You have no control over what's going on with prices in the area that you're trying to buy. You have no control over what's going on with interest rates. You have no control over closing costs to a degree or another. You can shop around for these things. You can buy in different neighborhoods. You can work with different lenders. You have a little bit of control to a degree or another because you can decide where you want to live. You can decide how much you want to pay. You can decide what your budget is, but you don't really have control over the market as a whole. So, because of that, it's always relevant. If you're buying a house to live in for a year or two, there's always risk. It, if you add in the sprinkling of what's going on in the market currently, what's going on in the world currently, it creates even more risk of if you buy a house to own for only a year or two, maybe three, I'd say a year to 5 years, like that pure starter home, or you're only in the area for a short period of time for work or something like that. That's where risk always lies in real estate. That's where something could happen in the world that causes a little bit of a pullback in the market and prices start sliding and correcting. The short end of that is usually always where there's risk. I joke with clients, but I'm kind of truthful when I joke about it, that between a normal America and Mad Max, real estate's probably going to be okay. Right? As long as we don't get to Mad Max. If we get to Mad Max, we have other problems. If we get to people are running around hijacking cars, there's no law and order anymore. The economy is not a thing anymore. And now it's just a power struggle of who has food and shelter, right? And and there's no more normal society. Society's gone. It's one of those movies. It's Mad Max. It's not going to matter what you paid for real estate, right? If America is even somewhat normal, capitalism, the dollar, right? Again, don't go down the rabbit hole of cryptocurrency taking over and now we're socialists. It's normal America. Capitalism, a dollar, merit, hard work, that, right? Normal America. If we have a somewhat normal America within the ranges of normal variables to life, wars, economic problems, industrial waves like AI, things changing, the constant flux that's never going to go away. That's kind of life. That's normal. We're going to have moments that markets are weird. It's going to happen. But if it's a normal America and you live in a property for greater than 10 years, it's probably worth more than when you bought it, most likely. Right. So if that's the equation, then it's always a good time to buy as long as you're buying a house you can afford. That's the big part. ABC. Always buy comfort. Always buy something you are comfortable in with your budget. What are you spending out of pocket? What's your monthly payment? What's your future forecast for yourself and your career? All that fun stuff. So the timing of real estate to me is a tricky subject. I don't think it's really a good barometer to making decisions. I think the barometer to making decisions is the length of time you plan on living in a house is the number one starting point of do I want to own compared to rent? And then if you're past that point of do I want to own compared to rent, then it's what am I available, what am I able to afford in the current market comfortably and not be stretching myself? Because I think that's really what this question is coming down to is, Mike, if I had to reframe that and say, hey, Mike, let's say it's a client talking to me, Mike, I kind of want to stretch myself and hope to refinance later, right? Or I'm going to wait for rates to be better, but I can afford a house now. Those are really the two conversations I'm having with some people of Mike, I want to stretch myself and hope to refi. Those clients, I have conversations with them about let's buy a house you're comfortable with. Let's structure your mortgage from a comfort standpoint Refinancing down the road is an opportunity cost. It's not a guarantee. No idea what rates are going to do. We have no idea what values are going to do. We have no idea what your credit's going to look like in 3 years. We have no idea what your job's going to look like in 3 years. You need to qualify again to refinance. So planning to refi and biting off more than you can chew now, hoping the market dynamics line up for you perfectly in the future, not a good choice, right? I don't think, and I know many people in the industry have done the date the rate, marry the house, but they haven't taken that to the next level of you want to make sure that you are still making a good financial decision. It just means that your interest rate can be fungible, be happy in the house. It doesn't mean buy something you can't afford, right? And I think that that is being pitched to some people alongside of the adjustable rate mortgage conversation of don't worry, just get a better payment for now and refinance later. It's fine. Rates are always going to be better at some point in the future. Home values are always going to be higher at some point in the near future. And that's just false. There's no way to know what rates are going to do in the next 2 to 3, 5 years. And if you're running your budget right now and you're buying a house that's kind of a stretch for you and you're hoping it's better in the next 2 to 3, 5 years, that's when the risk of those things not lining up carries the most weight, not a prudent decision. Now, if you're buying a house that's a long term home, fits your budget now, fits your budget relative in the future compared to what you think might happen in the future in your life, your career, your trajectory, your plans, go for it always if you don't want to be a renter. If you're living in an area for a long time, planting roots, buying is better. Hands down, almost every single time, unless you have incredibly low rent. Now, the waiting scenario, Mike, I'm going to wait for prices to come down. I'm going to wait for rates to come down. I talked to a lot of people in 2022 that said those things. Tell you right now, in most markets in Massachusetts, prices are higher and rates are higher. The waiting didn't benefit you at all. You can't time real estate because real estate is relevant to our economy and to how well people are doing. That's the same idea as trying to time the stock market and only buying during recessions. I think Warren Buffett's done some math around this, that if you only buy during recessions and you put that compared to a chart of constantly buying in all markets, the constant buying like completely crushes the waiting for the recession, right? Again, if you want to get financial with it and look at it from that angle, and I think it comes down to square peg, square hole. Are you buying a house to live in for a long time? Is it well within your means of comfort financially? Is it somewhere you want to live for a long time? What's your career trajectory? The more questions you ask of yourself in those buckets of life decisions, the more it doesn't matter what happens in the next year or two trying to time it. So make it about buying a house you're happy in, right? That's within your budget that you can do. I know that's hard, but that's really the math. Timing it is even harder. It's one of those pick your hard. Is it harder just to buy something that works now, or is it harder to time it? They're both hard. Pick your hard in that category.